Intro: The Frozen Time Capsule. Since mankind's humble beginnings, we've spread across nearly every corner of the Earth. We've climbed the highest mountains, crossed the deepest deserts, and even walked on the moon. But believe it or not, some of the biggest mysteries on our own planet are still unsolved. Most people call the ocean Earth's final frontier, but there's another mysterious world that's far less talked about: the permafrost. Permafrost is soil or sediment that has remained frozen for more than 2 years, but in many places it has actually been frozen for tens of thousands of years. Right now, about 15% of the northern hemisphere is covered in permafrost. That's roughly 11% of the entire planet's land surface. And here's where things get interesting. As the climate warms and the permafrost begins to melt, it's revealing things that have been frozen in time for thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of years. Perfectly preserved animals, ancient humans, deadly bacteria, and even viruses. The permafrost is basically a natural time capsule, and some of the things scientists have found inside it are absolutely unbelievable. So today, let's take a look at some of the craziest discoveries ever found in the permafrost. The 42,000-year-old baby horse. One of the most incredible discoveries happened in 2018 in Siberia, when scientists discovered a perfectly preserved Ice Age foal in the Batagaka crater in Russia. This horse, known as the Lena horse, lived during the Ice Age over 42,000 years ago. What made this discovery so shocking was its condition. The foal still had skin, hair, tail, hooves, and mane. Scientists could even see that the horse had a brown body with a black mane and tail. Sadly, the foal was only about 2 weeks old when it died. Researchers believe it likely got stuck in mud, couldn't escape, and died from exhaustion or thirst. But the most shocking discovery was still to come. Inside the horse, scientists found liquid blood. That might not sound crazy at first, but this blood was 42,000 years old, making it the oldest liquid blood ever discovered. Normally, blood freezes and breaks down over time, but the permafrost preserved it perfectly. Some scientists even believe this discovery could help us clone Ice Age animals in the future. The worm that came back to life. Now, this next discovery sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Scientists found a microscopic worm called a nematode buried 40 meters deep in frozen permafrost. When they brought it back to the lab and thawed it out, it came back to life. Yep, after being frozen for around 40,000 years, it started moving again. This was possible because of a process called cryptobiosis, a state where an organism shuts down its metabolism almost completely and can survive extreme conditions like freezing, dehydration, or lack of oxygen. But it gets even crazier. This worm didn't just wake up, it started reproducing. Because it reproduced asexually, it didn't even need a partner. So technically, this ancient worm is now the ancestor of an entirely new generation of worms, tens of thousands of years after it was frozen. Blue baby, the Ice Age bison. Back in 1979 in Alaska, gold miners discovered one of the best preserved Ice Age animals ever found, a steppe bison, later named Blue baby. It got the name because its skin had a bluish tint caused by a mineral called iron phosphate. This bison lived around 36,000 years ago and was massive, weighing nearly 1 ton. Scientists discovered something incredible. This bison had actually been attacked and partially eaten by an American lion during the Ice Age. And here's the wild part. The meat was so well preserved that scientists actually cooked part of it and ate it at a dinner party. They described the taste as like beef, but with a strong, earthy mushroom flavor. Not terrible, but not great either. Only humans would find a 36,000-year-old animal and think, yeah, let's eat it. Sparta, the cave lion cub. In 2017, scientists discovered a perfectly preserved cave lion cub in Siberia named Sparta. She was so well preserved that she still had fur, whiskers, claws, skin, and facial features. She looked like she had just fallen asleep, even though she died over 28,000 years ago. Scientists believe she died when her den collapsed, likely from a landslide, which buried her and preserved her in permafrost. Her body helped scientists learn that cave lions grew faster than modern lions, probably because they needed to survive the harsh Ice Age environment and hunt large prey earlier in life. Yuka, the baby mammoth. Another famous discovery is Yuka, a baby woolly mammoth found in Siberia and dated to around 28,000 years ago. Yuka was so well preserved that scientists were able to take cells from her body and implant them into mouse egg cells, where some showed signs of activity before cell division. This was a huge step towards possibly bringing mammoths back to life in the future. Yes, scientists are actually working on de-extinction. Ancient viruses and anthrax. Not everything found in permafrost is exciting. Some of it is dangerous. In 2014, scientists revived a giant virus from the permafrost that had been frozen for 30,000 years. Luckily, this virus only infects amoebas, not humans. But in 2016, a real disaster happened in Siberia. A heat wave melted permafrost. A frozen reindeer infected with anthrax thawed. The bacteria came back to life. Over 2,000 reindeer died, and one child died. So yes, permafrost can bring ancient diseases back to life. The Siberian Ice Maiden. One of the most fascinating human discoveries is the Siberian Ice Maiden, found in 1993. She lived around the 5th century BC and was buried in a tomb that later froze in permafrost, preserving her body. She still had visible tattoos, clothing, food, and horses buried with her. This suggested she was likely a high-status person, possibly a priestess. Scientists also found cannabis in her tomb, which may have been used for pain relief, as she likely suffered from breast cancer or serious injuries. She had been frozen for over 2,000 years, essentially making her a time traveler from the ancient world. The permafrost is one of the most incredible natural time capsules on Earth. It has preserved animals, humans, bacteria, and even viruses for tens of thousands of years. As more of it melts, scientists will continue to make amazing discoveries, but hopefully not discoveries that could start the next pandemic. Because finding a baby mammoth is exciting, but finding a 40,000-year-old virus? Yeah, maybe let's leave that one frozen.